Give me a minute. So after months of denials, after this outrageous scam by the Russians to provide every North Korean soldier with a Russian passport to make it appear as though they were Siberian, it was just a flurry this weekend of acknowledging North Korean participation in the war. Gerasimov, Peskov, Lavrov, and Putin all paid homage to the great work of the North Korean soldiers in the liberation of Kursk. Because, of course, the Russians announced this weekend that Kursk is, I can't even say with a straight face, that Kursk is fully liberated. So did Kim Jong-un. He gave a speech about how his brave soldiers, his heroic soldiers, fought for their friend Russia and liberated Kursk. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. Now that's a good sign, because it might mean that this guy here won't sell any more North Koreans to the Russians. One of the things that might be impacting this is that we also heard from the Donald. The Donald is not happy with his buddy Kim, whom he has regularly exchanged love letters with, claiming that the addition of North Korean soldiery and armaments to the war has only prolonged it, and that Kim is standing in the way of a peace deal. Little trouble in paradise. Now, the funniest part of all this is that all the Russian sources, all the North Korean sources are saying the same thing. The North Koreans fought valiantly and were indispensable in driving the Ukrainians out of Kursk. There's only one problem. The Ukrainians are still in Kursk. They're in Kursk out by Tetkino in the west. They're in Kursk just south of Sudza. And they're in the neighboring Russian oblast now of Belgorod. Now, it's not just me saying this or the Ukrainian armed forces. Voices within the Russian mill blogger are saying it too. Romanov Light is saying, Mr. Gerasimov has lied to the president. Right. It's never Putin's fault. They're always making excuses for Putin, saying that he's being lied to by the evil bureaucrats that are around him. All hail, dear leader, the great Tsar, from whom all blessings flow. Unbelievable. De facto, the Kursk region has not yet been completely liberated, including along the state border. And then he goes on to talk about where there's still active fighting. Not only has it not been liberated, in the last 24 hours, the Ukrainians have driven the Russians back in a couple of spots and retaken some positions. So the cognitive dissonance that one must live with to be a Russian or a North Korean is insanity. I mean, it's got to drive people insane. It's just got to. You have to believe that there's been a great victory in Kursk and that the NATO forces, not the Ukrainians, because the Ukrainians couldn't possibly have invaded Russia on their own. You have to believe these lies constantly, or at the very least, you have to pay lip service to them. I'm quite certain that a lot of Russians don't believe any of it. The problem is, this breeds a cynicism where your people end up not believing anything. And Trump is taking us down that very path right now himself.